Welcome to High Learning History. Today's episode, Deafness. Today we have Team A facing off against Team B. Alright, question 1. Alexander Graham Bell lived from 1847 to 1922 and is credited with inventing the telephone. What negative stereotypes did he perpetuate about deaf people?
He probably wanted to make a telephone for deaf people, but the technology wasn't advanced back then.
Yeah, and all we know is that he made that positive invention of the telephone.
Bell was a widely known scientist who also contributed to a harmful eugenics narrative that deaf people's genes should be eliminated. His book, A Memoir Upon the Formation of a Deaf Variety of the Human Race, perpetuated a harmful narrative of preventing a deaf race from forming.
All right, question 2. In what year did Gallaudet University, the only deaf university in the United States, have a deaf president for the first time?
Trick question! It was always a deaf president since it's a university for deaf individuals.
And yeah, why would a hearing person represent a deaf people?
Actually, it was in 1988 during the Deaf President Now protests.
Yeah, in 1988 at Gallaudet University, which is the only university for deaf people in the United States, the students led protests because the Board of Trustees appointed a hearing president despite there being qualified deaf candidates, and the students really, were advocating for there to be a deaf president, and they led the protests. So in 1988, finally, there was the first deaf president at Gallaudet University.
All right, question 3. This is going to be a scenario type question. So let's say a deaf person gets pulled over while driving. Why might this worry them so much?
Being pulled over is scary. We got pulled over once. I was super worried.
But thankfully the police officers were trained and we heard what he was saying. He explained to us what was going on and we definitely felt more relaxed.
No, police officers aren't trained on how to deal with someone who is deaf.
Yeah, so the deaf person might try to signal with their hands to try and communicate that they are deaf to the police officers, but because the police officers aren't trained, they might see them as aggressive and can cause potential harm to each other.
All right, next question. What is the difference between deaf with a capital D and deaf with a lowercase d?
This seems like another trick question.
Yeah, I don't see the difference.
Actually, there's a big difference between deaf with a capital D and deaf with a lowercase d.
Yeah, so people who are deaf would consider using deaf with a capital D if they consider their deafness a part of their cultural identity. That basically means that they feel very connected to the deaf community, whether that's shared experiences, shared values, and just celebrations within the community.
And the winner is Team B.
Congratulations to Team B, our winners. You guys really know your deaf history. And thank you. Now we all know a little bit more about deaf history. And I will see you guys next week.